G'day viewers, I've fixed up the Mishto inverter. I went over all those terminals internally and tightened them up. These studs, you had a spanner on both sides and gave these nuts a good tighten, although the outside one's got that ring on it. The negative one especially was loose on the inside. Had about half a metal plug, I could wiggle the wires inside in that stud, and that's not good. That explains why this inverter struggled to work properly and got so hot in this negative terminal. Luckily most of the damage is on the actual negative lug. Here it is. Yeah, that took most of the damage. So there's no major damage done, but because that got oxidised, that's the resistance connection now, so the inverter would drop a volt under load. But I've gone over the positive one and the earth one. The positive one wasn't far off being too loose, and same with the earth. But this one here, I can wobble that, so I'll fix that now. That inverter's nice and repaired now, so I'm going to leave that for this one. Got a little spare test inverter, and the 600 watt is now a mobile inverter for charging up my tablet and my phone and my power tools. A nice little modification I made there. Plugs into a cigarette socket. Its power draw is not going to be more than 10 amps at any one time. I'm not running a fridge or a power tool or anything near that much on the bloody thing, so for things like this it's pretty good. I'm going to have a better wire than that and put this inverter up there. That'll be a nice little thing. I can run a cord in the canopy, got a little power board and charge things on the go. Works quite well in the setup like that. One thing going to be aware of when you get inverters with screw terminal studs like that, just be aware that can come loose inside. And I've got a little thing to project of a Waeco fridge from a mate, which had a stuck button. This plastic button was getting stuck internally, and was just constantly selecting settings on the temperature. It wouldn't actually sit at one temperature. So like this button was being held down, but I fixed that. Took all this plastic off and fixed up this button here, so now it doesn't stick. It actually clicks like these should be. It's a Waeco Coolmatic CF50 50 litre fridge or slash freezer. 12 volt only, but it does and 24 volt actually. And this power brick from 240 volt mains, and it plugs in there with a cigarette socket. So it doesn't have the inbuilt power supply for mains like Engels do. It's all German made running gear in there. There's a little Danfoss compressor in there, reciprocating one like in a normal domestic fridge, just smaller. It's a cute little thing. That's all been cleaned out now, so that's running really well. That's missing, the clip's missing. I had a broken hinge which I fixed. Got a long plastic rod about 4 inches long. Stuffed it inside there, it's just foam insulation in there. Blow foam. I just stuck that in there and fixed the broken hinge. That goes in there first because it's longer. That's actually working quite well. I've got a goon sack in there and that's cooling quite nicely. It's a nice modest size. He puts you somewhat reasonably stuff you don't want to keep too cold in here. And whether you want to freeze or keep really cool goes in there. It's actually quite a good score. My mate got this for 50 bucks. I think it's from one of his family members, but still, that's pretty bloody good for 50 bucks. I'll be happy with that. Better than a garage, so that's all that was wrong, was just his button was getting stuck, and it was just constantly stuck and selecting settings like you didn't know what to do, the poor damn thing. But I fixed it now, so quite a quick and easy fix. I fixed this shroud up because they took this shroud off and they popped it back on but didn't put the screws in properly. They bent up the plastic, so I fixed that. Just cosmetic, but it's actually quite nice. It's actually German made. As I said, all the running gear is Danfoss and German made. I know some of these are all made in China, but this is a pretty good, a good model actually. There's a circuit board that controls the compressor, which runs off this. There's a controller which you can replace. They do die on these, and they're not too hard to get replacements. You can get, they're relatively readily available, so they're a thing that dies on these commonly on some models, but they're pretty easy to replace component anyway. Nothing else major goes wrong with these. I do like the angles better though. They're a Fuji compressor design. It's a rotary compressor, and its lubrication system can work at any orientation, which is one major advantage of their fridges. I do like the build quality of the angles over these though. The older ones especially. That's working quite well. It also came with another power brick, which is I suspect this transformer might have an open secondary or primary, because there's absolutely no output on there at all. I get power coming in, but there's absolutely no output, so the fuses and everything checked fine. So it's either that transformer's dead or one of these transistors has died. But I reckon this transformer is going to open circuit. 12 volt, 6 amps this thing puts out. Anyway, little project to keep you busy. Thanks for watching.